don't have it. There.
Hello friends, Coach Bob with you, and today, if it looks like I'm in a kind of a tight spot, it's because I'm in kind of a tight spot. So I got a request from a subscriber, and you guys know I take these requests quite seriously, so I'm inside the CanAm trailer trying to figure this out. Anyway, it says, hi, my name is Teresa. I am a recent subscriber to your channel. I've loved riding as long as I can remember. I won't go through all of it. However, she says that she has a question about the Freedom trailer. She noticed that the trailer that Coach Vic's wheelchair fits inside, and the question was, how big is her chair and how much room remains inside the trailer? And it looked like her chair broke down, as does her daughter's wheelchair. You know, CanAm does give you a lot of information, but often a lot of that information is just lost in translation, and it doesn't really mean a whole lot. And what I mean by that, they'll go overall length 91 inches. Well, that's great, but that's tongue length. And overall width 45 inches. Well, yeah, but you got wheel wells inside. And then they go, okay, well, the weight capacity, okay, that's 200 pounds. Yeah, I'm a little over that. Okay, so we know that I'm over the weight program here. And then they go height. Height. 32 inches. Well, that's great if you're standing on the ground, but there's room under the thing. So what do it hold? That's the real question. And we need to answer those questions. And the answer that we're given is 150 gallons or 20 cubic feet. Well, that's great if we got little bitty ice cubes that we want to put in here, or 150 gallons of water. But that's not real helpful for people with wheelchairs. And we ended up having to drive hundreds of miles in order to determine if this thing would work for us. And it did work for us, and we purchased it. So we're gonna do some interior measurements right now. I know I got a tape measure in here somewhere. I'll tell you what, it's getting hot in here, I know that. Where's my thing? Here's, okay. So tape measure right here. And, all right, so we're roughly at 21 inches right back here, 20.5 inches about halfway up, so it tapers down. So what we're gonna do now that we know that, we're gonna get out, we're gonna measure the width, and we're gonna measure Coach Vic's wheelchair, and we're gonna get some suitcases out here and measure them and see what all we could fit in here. But I will tell you this, it's November in Tallahassee, Florida, and it's hot in here. So let me get out of this darn thing. Here we go. Let me out there, Coach Vic. Coach Vic. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. Coach Vic! Coach Vic!
Hi! What you need?
Let me out!
What's the magic word?
Let me out!
What's the magic word?
Let me out!
Magic word!
Please?
Yes. Uh-oh.
Oh, my goodness. Whew. It's hot in there.
How you doing, Coach Bob?
Great. I think I violated the weight capacity. Boy, this would have been easier in my 20s. All right, so anyone who's been watching the channel for any extended period of time, you know that Coach Vic and I fit an enormous amount of stuff inside this trailer. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some real-time measuring of this chair. Now this chair right here that I have broken down, I'm going to show it to you. It's her tie-light chair. This is the larger of her two chairs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it on the side so that you can see exactly how tall it is. And this is the larger of her two wheelchairs. And then I'm going to show you how I put it in here, and then the amount of room that I have left over. And then I'm going to show you exactly how tight of a fit it is, because when we talk about vertically speaking, it is a tight fit. Let's just get to work. All right, so here's Coach Vic's wheelchair. Now, if you were to look at her wheels, they pop in like this right here, okay? So that's what the wheelchair sits like, okay? So what I do is I pop the side guards out like this, toss them in. I did that on purpose. And then the back folds over. And then I pop the wheels off. So the footprint that we're looking at is like this. And I'm going to show you some real detailed pictures of that once we get it in here. Okay? Okay, so I have the chair in here now. Let me show you what it looks like. So you can see this thing takes up an enormous amount of space. Can I turn this wheelchair in other directions? I can, but it really doesn't seem to make a whole lot of difference. Now, there is usable space here and here. There's usable space under these wheels. And we utilize that space when we were traveling. I'm gonna turn this wheelchair in a different direction because this is not normally the chair I use. The chair that I use is actually physically smaller than this one, and I wanted to use the larger one just in case. Now, although this configuration may appear to be more beneficial, it really is not, because the wheels actually now, when I have them sitting lower, are actually utilizing more of the floor. Anything you can stack on top of the wheelchair to utilize that floor space under the wheelchair is going to be beneficial to you in the long run. Here's what I would do if we were traveling. I'd have this wheel sitting up here, and then I would determine, will this close? All right, did you hear it? It's touching the top. I know I'm utilizing all of my space. If this is touching right here, and you can see I've damaged the gel coat here. Now I'm gonna put like a sticky film, I'm gonna put something to cover that, but this is from thousands of miles of traveling. So this wheel, when you look at this, this is the maximum height that it's going to be able to utilize. So I'm gonna get this on the ground, and we're gonna make some real measurements of how high this is and how far this goes out, so that maybe this will be helpful to you when you go to put your wheelchair in the back of one of these things. Now, doing this is the way I would like to carry it if I use this chair, and here's why. I can take this wheel and I can set it up like that, and now I've got all of this usable floor space down here. So I would have a case of water or something right here, maybe even a small carry-on or a backpack or something like that. I've got a place to put that stuff right there. I like to get the wheels off the floor if I can. So let's see if that'll close like that. It does. So if I were using this wheelchair, that's how I would carry that. And as you can see, there is a lot of space up here. I mean, a lot of space up there. That's suitcases, water bottles, air compressor, first aid kit, tire patch kit. All of that stuff will fit there easily, very easily. I'm gonna get my tape measure and show you how long of a throw that is. So when you're looking at this, you can see that's over 2 feet of area up there that would be usable. So over 2 feet, and the width at the narrowest spot, almost 2 feet, 22.5 inches. So 22.5 by 24, that's a lot of space. That's a lot of space. Then you have, and also again, you have all of the space under this wheelchair wheel right back here. So let me pull this wheelchair out and let's do some real measurements of the chair itself. So from the ground to the top of this hand ring is 21.5 inches. And when I get in this thing and I measure it, halfway down that trailer is 21.5 inches. You're gonna need your wheelchair when you break it down and you have something on top of it, you're gonna need it to be no more than 21.5 inches tall. Lengthwise, we are looking at 27 inches. Height-wise, from the top to the bottom of the wheel, or from the bottom of the wheel to the top of the frame, 28 inches. You're looking at some pretty large measurements, but again, you've got all of this area down here to store things. And that other wheel was sitting like this. So all of this area down here, you could put things. So let's get some suitcases and see what we can fit in here with the wheelchair. All right, as you guys know, when you followed us across country, we carry quite a bit of stuff. We carry a little DeWalt battery powered air compressor. We carry a first aid kit that also has a tire patch kit in it, plug type kit. Yeti soft side cooler. It's the little, I think it's the 12, holds the 12 pack in there. This OGO bag, which I've had a lifetime, pretty good size. Carries a bunch of gear and a backpack. Now, we would rarely have more than that in the trailer. At night, this stuff would all go in the motel room with the exception of the compressor and the first aid kit, which meant we could leave jackets, helmets, that sort of stuff in here if we needed to. Most of the time I took the helmets in simply for security. I was worried someone might lift the trailer, and then if that happened, all of a sudden, you know, $1,200 worth of helmets and another $500, $600 in jackets is gone, and you're stuck somewhere, especially if they have a helmet law. You can't even legally ride to go get another helmet. You're in a real bind. So I normally carried that stuff in at night. But let's pack this stuff a little bit and see what we can do. All right, now one of the issues you're always going to be faced with is the wheelchair is always going to be in the way. If the wheelchair is in here, it is in the way because everything you're going to need is up there. So normally the person, when you're getting these things out of the front, the person in the wheelchair is in the chair and it's normally out of the way. But if they're not, understand that if you want something and they plan on sitting on the Spyder, you're gonna have to pull the wheelchair out in order to access the things in the front. It's just the nature of it. It can be inconvenient, it can be irritating, and when you're tired, it can be downright frustrating. But in the long run, it's just a bump in the road, not a real problem. Now, first aid kit, Yeti. I'm not gonna load the Yeti up, but here's how we did it. I had the Yeti turned sideways, and I would normally run the first aid kit in front of it like that. You can turn it this way as well, but I like to run it this way. Backpack, stick it in here, right, like that. OGO bag, which this is pretty big. I don't use this very often because it is very, very tall. So this is what I do, man. I've got a pretty good eye for this stuff at this point. So there you go. We've got room right there. I guarantee I can get it all in. Air compressor, there it is. So now let's see if I can get the wheelchair and all of it inside. You can see ton of room, plenty of room. Take my wheels, drop them in here, and I'm not even utilizing the floor space. I could take this, set it up here like this, and then have this wheel out when I lay other things in here. I could take another one of these OGO bags and I could drop it right there. And with that, I could take this wheel and lay it on top of it. I could actually have another 2 of those bags in there. And not a problem. So there you go, Yeti cooler, backpack, OGO bag, air compressor, first aid kit, wheelchair, wheels, and a partridge in a pear tree just like that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna unfold the chair. I'm gonna show you what it looks like when I do this stuff. So each time Coach Vic, she's up there getting ready to go, I'll take these wheels and pull them out. Why is it when you get old, your britches want to fall down? All right, take this wheelchair, flip it up, wheel, other wheel. I'd have a cushion to set right there. I didn't bring the cushion out here. Side guards. This is when I would start organizing and all that stuff. I'd close all this. I'd take helmets, put them in here if we were going to go inside and get things. And you can see you've got plenty of room for all that. Just like that. Well, let's do some measuring on this wheelchair now that it's assembled, so you can look at your wheelchair while it's not broken down and see how similar they are. Now, for those not in the know, wheelchairs, you purchase them in a width. And this right here, this is, Coach Vic's gonna get mad at me. This is her big chair. This is a 16-inch chair. She normally uses a 15-inch chair. That's what she's in right now. And when we travel, she normally utilizes a 15-width chair, which gives me a little more room up top. But the hand rims on the other wheels are a little wider, so it balances about out. So this is pretty indicative of what we travel with when it's the width of it, which becomes the height because it's laying on its side. So it was a 16-inch chair, and I got my wheels taken off and laying on top of it, okay? Now, height-wise, from top to bottom, 30 inches to the top of the backrest, front to back, from the front of the frame to the back of the wheel, 33 inches. And if you go from hand rim to hand rim, 22 inches. So truthfully, if I got this far enough back, I could possibly leave the wheels on it. But plenty of luggage space, plenty of wheelchair space. Teresa, I hope that helps you a little bit and gives you a little bit of information, and maybe it answers your questions. And remember, you've got my email address. you can certainly contact me via that. And if you needed more information, if you wanted to get more specific about things, I will even send you my cell phone number so that you could call me and we can have some very specific conversations about it. We could even FaceTime and talk about those things. I want you to know, if you have questions about the Spyder, if you have questions about the trailer, anything, I do take them very seriously. You matter to me, because when we looked to get one of these, it was a nightmare. We could not get the real deal. People would measure it and they go, oh, it's around 21 inches, it's around 20 and a half. That didn't help me at all. It didn't help me at all, because I needed to know. I mean, if I'm gonna spend $3,500 on a trailer, which is about what they are, certainly by the time you pay your taxes on it, it's that. By the time you get that thing home and then your wheelchair doesn't fit in it, man, I would have been climbing a tree, I'll tell you that right now. But for us, we took a wheelchair up to Columbus, Georgia. It was a 200-mile ride. It was well worth the trip to make sure that it fit for us. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to post a link up over here for the video for the flooring installation. That flooring installation is necessary, and I'm gonna tell you why. It may not be necessary for the average fella, but if you have someone in your life with a wheelchair, if you are dealing with pieces that are made of case-hardened steel that you're throwing in and out of this thing, you're gonna damage it. And you know what? It's a big investment. And you can see that we beat ours pretty hard. I'm gonna give you a few snapshots of what we've done. Again, this is where the wheels hit. So you can see we're pushing the vertical limits of this thing. This is where the wheels lie on the outside, where I prop them up there and stack things under them. This is where the frame of the wheelchair hits the side of it. And this is where, although normally I take the back, the seat cushion, I lay it right here, and then I pull the chair up tight on the seat cushion. This is where edges of the frame and edges of the rims have hit the wall of the trailer. Now, a question that I've been asked by several people is, how durable is the trailer? Well, I'll tell you, durability, it seems to be fine. I'm not gonna say that it's as heavy duty as I wish it was, because it's not. I would prefer double walls in certain areas and that sort of thing. But what I'm looking at doing is buying like a skateboard tape, but not quite that gritty, and placing it over these rub points. So I'm gonna create that durability in here. And it won't be real thick. And then when it wears through, I'll simply heat it up, peel it off, put on another layer. Service and tire pressure decals, things like this. Those things are gonna be worn off. If you're throwing wheelchairs in and out of here, you're gonna tear those things up. So make sure you either move them, take a picture of them, or have the owner's manual handy so that you know what those things are supposed to be. The owner's manual, speaking of the owner's manual, it gives you some service intervals and that sort of thing. It's really a very basic thing to do. You saw me in here. This does have the little safety handle. You know, so if you do get stuck in here, you can pull that, you can get out. I didn't want to pull on it because I'm worried about an internal mechanism getting damaged, and I just don't want to risk that. I know it probably wouldn't happen, but I'm just not going to play with fire. So here's the flooring that I utilized, and like I said, I'll post the video. The flooring itself looks like a 3/8 inch thickness, possibly started out at 1/2 inch, and it has an indoor-outdoor carpet on top of it. Like I said, I posted the video link. I'll post it up here, and I'll post it down below for anyone wanting to do the floor in it, because I do believe, well, I don't believe, it is absolutely necessary if you're throwing a wheelchair in and out of this, because the metal parts on that wheelchair, they're gonna punch a hole in this thing real fast if you're throwing it in and out of the bottom. Now, you may be a little more gentle than I am, but understand that, you know, when you're in a hurry, when it's raining, because look, if it's raining, Coach Vic can't jump off of this thing. And she doesn't want to sit in the rain waiting on me. Likewise, she doesn't want to sit in the rain and wait for me to slowly, carefully put her wheelchair in the trailer. She wants me to throw that thing in here and let's get going. So I try to be sensitive about that. And I understand that it can give you a bull in a china shop mentality. Understand you're just going to damage the trailer. It's just part of it. But I think this trailer will last me 10 years easily, maybe a lifetime. I don't know. Certainly, if I start putting the pieces on here that I need to. Now, up front, it has this styrofoam material right here, and it goes all the way around the front. And I don't know if that's for sound deadening. I think it's more for heat. This thing does get pretty warm in here in the summertime. No worse for the wear. This right here, this little plastic shroud, this was one of my complaints about the trailer. I like this here because it does protect the paint. And if you, by chance, I'm not gonna say you'll jackknife it, but if you're like me, I've jackknifed it a couple of times backing up, not because I couldn't back up, but because I literally forgot it was there. And all of a sudden I'm pushing the dang thing sideways. And this right here is what hits the saddlebag, and it doesn't damage your saddlebag or the trailer. So this is very beneficial. Now, the one thing I did not like about it when I got it, and it's probably gotten progressively worse. You can see that this is held down with like a double-faced tape along here. So I can press it down. Now I did a little test because I was concerned that this piece, that there was maybe a void in here, that maybe this was the internal and external wall. But the fiberglass goes all the way around it. So if I put water, if I squirt water down in that gap, it just comes out right down here. So I'm not worried about it. And it's not metal, so I'm just not sweating it. And your tongue is under all that. So it's really not creating a problem. It's just not as pretty as I would like it to be. And when you spend that much, you expect a little more in fit and finish. That's just me being a persnickety old dude. And I know that I am, but there you have it. Hopefully this has given you a little insight on this trailer. No, it is not a scientific review. It's not, 35 microns thick. It's none of that. This is intended to be a real world what you can put in this trailer. And can you use it? And will it meet your needs? Because it's a lot of money to spend, and you need to make sure that it's gonna be okay for you. So Teresa, I hope this video helped you out. God bless you, your family, your daughter, and I pray to meet you on the road one day with her in tow, and we can all have a cup of coffee together. It'll be a wonderful time. Also, for you unsubscribed patrons, if you would, quickly hit the subscribe button down there. Turn on that, ring that little notification bell, turn them on so you don't miss any videos, and take the time to take this video, copy the link, put it in a Facebook post and share it with your friends. The channel's growing, and it's all because of you, and we do greatly appreciate it. So until next time, go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day, and we'll see you on the road real soon.